I don't know if everyone's familiar with the Buddhist concept of the bodhisattva, a person who says they will not ascend until everyone's ready. But you look at that word, body, city, bodhisattva. I won't leave till everyone is living in the appropriate place. House body nestled in earth, spring tree skies, bird constellations link and swoop, decorating rooftops with animated calligraphy, waiting for the ink to separate into letters, waiting for the instructions to sprout across my screen. If everyone went to bed when I did, the Earth's orbit would be threatened. The way tomatoes change a soup's color, the way skin facilitates music, like taking 5 minutes to rub one palm across the other and spending hours decompressing what I heard, graphing how the volume peaks and wanes, like what the fuck traversing the sky, changing echoes and overtones. As learning a new song each day requires changes in wardrobe, paycheck, and friends, we're no longer the same modality, so few settle, and now that music's no longer local, every past is available today, every style's contemporary, songs so new you start dancing before you hear them. When the whole city's dancing, I will rest. Rapture. I wondered why so many empty parking spaces that looked up and saw the lid of the sky had been removed. Thousands of bodies gushing upwards. Most of the homeless were gone. Most of the small business owners were trying to find staff. I paid the parking meter, and certainly the police were still here. I tried to call home, but a cloud of cell phones enforced silence. Maybe the pawn shop with used guitars and guns is still open. We have inherited the earth. Not all of us are meek. No soup. There's no soup like dead soup, aged soup, soup buried in the yard and working its way back to the kitchen, soup you can't resist, alphabet soup with over 30 letters, courage soup, soup flavored with only things you've never touched, soup in a shot glass, an aquarium in the middle of a double-pane window, ant colony drowned in soup. Soup frozen in ripples like corduroy, silky, woolly, soup without anything natural, used soup, vintage soup, a different soup for every room in the house, soup mosquitoes hate, a soup only my grandma could make, revolving door soup, loud as a helicopter soup. When I slurp, it sounds like snapping a shotgun. Eating soup with chopsticks, using only bread, a glass straw, pressing my face into cool enough soup. This soup is slow motion, cubistic animation, everything machined into pinhead-sized pieces, and the glass bowl is a snow globe telling my future, answering my questions, every spoonful another day. Now I lay me. I sleep when I'm tired, wherever I am. I croon to the fridge when I'm hungry, no matter whose kitchen. An open door to growling darkness and uncertain floors, neath a chalky mist of disconstruction. Why am I peeing gasoline? How far can my clothes escape when I'm out of my body? If you've never made love to a sidewalk, if the rain's never left so many holes in your hand, every gesture's orchestral. I could unravel into a pavilion, transporting you to an unnamed mythology, leaving you dazed and lubricated, slightly taxed and spiritually attuned. When I do an upright somersault, crossing 4 lanes, the pigeons turn into gift cards. A halo of applause I'll redeem for the day's first window. Like a police car turned into a fruitcake we keep re-gifting. As the buildings add more floors, the street must trim its budget. As cars get wider and more must park between fewer lines, I got my armor from the U-Pullet to slay the petro-dragon. One song for the exhaustion overtaking us. one song to convince the sun to forgive again. We crossed the street to meet the inventor of mayonnaise. To say you invented mayonnaise is like patenting quinine, like dropping a phone or deciding the sunlight at your feet. When eggs neither hatch nor get eaten by foxes or crows. When a bird embryo hears too well what's outside and knows the purest rainbows shine at night. The smell of a summer wheat field at 4 in the afternoon is schematics for a toaster. Did we forget about the milk so it could become cheese? Or did the two-legged cow inside the milk croon us into diversion? Chase the pigs, tattoo the chicken. It's cows who make the sun rise and set each day. I tried to forge armor from sugar cane, but was mistaken for tall dung. I made tea with boiling oil. I read a trees movie in reverse, saw so many teeth I never went back. When my hair gets too long, I dance in morning rain. When my eye offends me, I hatch another satellite, spooning macerated books and videos into its dish. 'Cause nakedness is bad for business, our wings atrophy neath our sweaters and silk. Most of our rivers, deltas, have long been dammed and diverted. The persistent drip lifting me from bed into the 1,000 rain clouds being relocated so we can trade our roads for plastic bottles, canteens like giant corpuscles, taking everything from water but the grit of foreclosed reservoirs. Interstate highways marinated, cured, and rating at the drive-up window. I learned to drive before I could cook. I replaced the brake drums with mirrored speakers. Get out of my way, Neil's guitar solo's coming. They were hiding behind hay bales. They were planting in the full moon. How can buildings that tall not be rampant with termites, all that meat? Another of those mornings. Something the stomach wants and has no word for. Waking beneath a sky I've never seen, a sleeping bag of questionable origin. Could be a field with no visible buildings, could be a park next to morning traffic. I haven't learned how they say hungry here. Where do I recycle whatever I drank to have such a brilliant headache, as various parts of my brain blame each other for this? A faucet without handles, a sink I can't reach the bottom of, the whistling of steam that's a parrot changing channels to become a forecast of pale green sky and clouds as layered as shale. The weather woman comes in the back door with a basket of purple tomatoes and 3 cucumbers that haven't stopped dancing. I feel the bass and the floor through my suddenly handsome feet, as if a roller belt of sand rippling regular to strengthen my legs and spine, bring my head closer to the ceiling fan of muscular arms and flamingo necks. The only way to stop spinning is sit on a bar stool, salvaged from this town's oldest tavern before the meteor struck it, but I can't pay the cover because my wallet's in that sleeping bag, unzipping to its next assignment. This comes from is a quote from a good friend of mine, but the title is When Music Didn't Play Itself. Louis Armstrong takes a iguana to his lips, and he can fucking see that it's an iguana and thinks, damn, what I do for the music, they have no idea, can't possibly dream what blowing fucking iguana is all about. Could be a valve, could be a pain meridian, like a bagpipe with a goat still attached. It's beating hard the auto bass, trumpet, crumpet, strumpet, limpets for percussion, conchs for tonal solos. From the Nautilus, you get aged music, rushing into current air, knowing it's late for something, knowing collectors are at its door, slog in a sea of credit, coupons, Groupons, groping into pockets. Couldn't be that deep where someone set up camp just a layer of cotton from the family jewels, set to unfurl their semi-metallic seeds into this pentatonic wind made in darkest New York. Orchestral grapefruit sections, blow and go, e-readers with mini windshield wipers to keep the tones flowing, foxtrot, polka, waltz, dipping on the exhale, bucking, winging of the 5-story clarinet, this waterfall of weekend spit. The pigeons on the wire are almost Ravel. The 4-dimensional options of an orchestra in zero gravity, accumulated, insulated Beirut can't conduct. I want current, both direct and alternate, alternational. We don't have those songs here because that flute doesn't grow here. When the seed bursts from the pod, make sure its first vision is you, bonded with what it will become, what's playing in the background, forever traumatized and hungry by the megabass vibrating the windows of my birth. So rarely is the window singing what I see, the crazed skylight of Ornette's loft, till condo growth bloated out the smoon. The stars had to leave town, a rent in the fabric, notating on zebra flesh the hyenic heartbeats, the wildebeests, enticing me to run where the spiders reign, turning each moan into an octave, redefining octaves by how many fingers left. 1 finger of bourbon for every solo, breathing more hexagonal than circular, kneecap bongos, schizophrenic snares. The muse of the morning after resinous, post-Buman, transpositional, the darkest clouds bring coffee. Sunshine brings earworms, no jam without seeds. How something old play through something new, crossing on red and flying on green. I flex the bow to make dew dance like spontaneous oil on a 1,000-watt cymbal, sheening to short and feed back, rendering to monk the missing pieces. We have nothing to sphere but music burning through our chromatic table to underground bedrock, so pissed off to be wakened, it taxes us with 1,000 lab-grown inorganic strings synthesizing nothing. My trumpet makes the house leak and spasm, so I play in the rain, unsure what just landed on my shoulder. Never meant to. Never meant to cause you any sorrow. Never meant to cause you any pain. Not my words. I never meant to cause to you or anyone. Things just happen. You go to college, get a job, have a good life. When the U.S. was at its peak, something we'll never see again. So many things we'll never see again, even if I was still here to see them, still able to see, focus slipping each year. The part of the brain that hallucinates, the part that brings up the complete lyrics of Tangled Up in Blue, I never thought of before. You look like the silent type, more possum than killdeer, as chameleon as 6'6", 220 can be, that inner stillness to stay below the tree line, avoid short, tense drunks who want to take on the biggest guy around, bottle shard to chin, fist jamming glass into windpipe, 'cause I wasn't who I thought I was, 'cause my hometown had become a foreign country. West Side Story starring John Wayne and Aretha Franklin, too white to be a temptation. Don't know where you learned to dance, but I know it wasn't here. Body memory spasms, like a weather vane stuck in the ground, lightning rod for an antenna. Tom Waits growling, "Welcome to Raphael's Silver Cloud Lounge." Inside that cloud, a 24-hour city where the sun refused to shine. Why is the rain black? Why am I the only one without extra holes, things tied and jangling? When I don't trigger the metal detector, the uniformed ex-lineman pops up and steps toward me. I cast a worrisome shadow even when the light's from all directions. My spirit animals are hummingbird and otter. My favorite month is the second wettest. Any song can be improved with a fluid, keening guitar solo, an extra half beat just shy of a fifth, a line as thick as my pinky, the wind through my hair sounds like a low helicopter reporting on the insect traffic, the progress of invasive plants, no indication 82nd Street will hatch anytime soon. I'm dyslexic about danger and always run toward it. A Buddhist physicist, drinker of malt liquor and barrel-aged microbrews, following to the lighthouse with Dune Messiah. Give it a spin, ease off the clutch. Every 2 gears, have another gear between them. Who made the road? Who painted the sky? Why, most guitars have one more string than a hand has fingers. Those few who don't need electricity to be amplified. Get down, get over it. Not a question of being invited. Dressed like I'm working the door, tending bar and rhinestone shades. When you're looking at nothing, no one's looking back. I smell like paper and sometimes get asked, how many pages? No sequel, no trilogy, working on the map inside my chest skin, my back cover blurred with microorganisms from refugee camps. This body's still a single continent, but India may break off soon. Entering's the easy part. Under someone's shoe, flat against the back, folded like a pizza box. Some buildings so large, inside's not the right word. Like a biodome disguised as a Walmart. My city's reduced to the parts I've been to. When I'm next to a door, just as someone's fleeing out, 4 more doors open in what I thought a wall. I'm chasing where everyone was, swirling and sniffing bottles, carefully refolding the empty deli paper so a sandwich can grow back. Dancing to loud music in a crowded room where everyone's too mesmerized to collide can cure anything for a while. So much that only exists when I think about it. I couldn't close my eyes in time to keep those 2 cars from colliding. Wouldn't have used the street as a trampoline if I'd known anyone was walking on it. I'm no longer able to go fast enough to hurt myself. When what I thought a chair is someone's Mercedes in the neighborhood, I don't meet the dress code. My money's not good enough here. I don't have perfect pitch, but can still hurl a decent sidewinder. Before you know which way it's breaking, I'm heading for the fence. Whiskey bottle, brand new car. Oak tree, you're in my way. When I woke up this morning was Judgment Day. I wrote that poem on the day that Prince died, but it ended up being about me. Let's get lost. This rain is not aligning, anticipating the shiver through me, sunny with 43 clouds, knowing where it's coming from. I used to be an interconnected set of streams and lakes. My fingers would never miss, caverns of my shoulders, the easiest bones to make a bow with, skeletal realignment from umbrellas to go-kart. Filling a store with continents, pumps of various magnitudes, like a house wanting to escape itself, from subflooring to acoustic weights, veritable translucent, a knock in new rain, mistaking ears for hands, assuming all claws are hollow, capable of injecting as the paw sees fit, sampling my way to immunity. As each of us is a city, urban redevelopment, ethnic drift, where money leaks, where traffic clots and hungers, a square block maze of invulnerable glass, so alien the earth can't hold it, each fingerprint a complex slicer. when apartments migrate as regularly as oaks, when the sun went away and no one knows why, when you keep trying to get around, there's no way but through, a topography no longer tolerant of right angles, 6-way stops. I hear a train approaching, but see no tracks, if a wing. If there's a wing in my mouth, boneless but tendon, Teflon feathers cool in evaporating sauce, body guitar, thumb body opening in the middle like a gondola without the blimp, like living in a B-52, shedding metal skin for windows and solar. The weight of chemistry in leaves, in rivers layered like batteries, photosynthetic lasagna, bubbling with energy, unable to cohere as what's below keeps reacting with its neighbors. I move to the wilderness and give all the trees names and personalities. Hours on our wireless intercom. The squirrels are books, the raccoons are movies. Each bird's a window I could teleport through. When a past adventure shows up, fragrant and savory, so many vines to launch myself with alternate arms, gravity plus mass factoring wind, surface to air, will to distance, breathing with everything but my lungs. They're my wings now, the topography I'm trying to fly toward, replacing skin with maps that bulge from veins and tendons. With wings, no arms, so clever feet, mouth with multiple grips, belly like a table, mouth like a demolition crew. Only the paranoid need camouflage. My thoughts have wings, rippling a path of aerial density, swallows so muscular you can stretch one into a bowstring. What I thought a mural are thousands of butterflies hanging where trees used to breathe, certain breakfasts on its way. I use the first person pronoun pretty exclusively just because it seemed right to kind of claim what I'm saying instead of blame it on some other imaginary person. But at least this title is true. I love geography. A map in shreds. Map shreds made into a globe. Light shines through, improper projection. Right side up, ask the sun. No stars below. The map behind the map. A virgin grid, crow versus car. Bicycle with pogo stick wheels to jump cars and fences, streets not on the map. 10 Google camera cars exploding on the same day. The satellite realized it was orbiting the wrong planet. Map gift wrap, lampshade, hemispheric pajamas. A map of reeds and shells. My palm maps my life. 4 colors to avoid adjacent bleeding. An 18th century map, a map of the land beneath Antarctica. For a week, the Earth had no magnetic lines. It came back with new assignments and uniforms. My nav system only speaks Korean. I spent days origamiing the map into an almost sphere. When land and ocean were in separate huddles, when it rained dirt, shoveling water that's not frozen, road paved with map. The square tattooed on his bicep is the outline of his home state. If the mountains were pressed flat and the land allowed to flow freely, soon China and India will overlap. As ice shrinks, borders swell. Instead of Oregon, the map says mine. Photoshop the map to take out topographic wrinkles. You can't spell check a map. The map of where we're going won't come out till next summer. With my magnifying glass, I eliminated St. Louis. From free maps to maps that charge every time you look at them. Homing shoes, never get lost. I asked the map for directions, got no answer. Put a tinfoil map on my head and had nowhere to go. Roll up that $100 map and rail some mileage. All the names have been replaced with coordinates. Is that the horizon or a fold collide here now. When I have an accident, when another car backs into me, when a clear intersection suddenly has a Nissan 2 feet in front of me, an accident in my pants, an accident waiting to be asked in. By accident, I met the woman of my dreams, a dented offender, a dented normality. I only eat meat from animals I've killed. When's open season on cows? Why are crows and robins protected? When we hear a gunshot outside, we first do a roll call. The gun may have discharged accidentally, but was there on purpose. Some cities, you can make 4 left turns and be nowhere near where you started. Rural, each turn may be miles apart. Chambered Nautilus cul-de-sacs, sounds go into the ear and never come out. When I walk, I think like a cab with my own voices in the back. Sometimes I'm in the back seat too, and my body drives itself, fueled by coffee and promises. The meter's always running, but the odometer is easily distracted. I waited through 3 green lights before I was threatened. One night I left my lights on, and my roommate had to jump me in the morning, running in place while air guitaring Led Zeppelin. I claim every accident I'm near. The clamor of redistribution, retribution, render to change the things of chaos. I'm an eager witness, improvising what I didn't see or hear, a compass on every corner, a camera I can backdate, cameras implanted in feral cats. The new burger joint has 4 drive-up windows and no doors. Is anyone inside? How do we get them out? I try not to hear the people in my engine screaming when I turn the key. The gas goes directly from under North Dakota to a catheter on my leg. Last year, 500,000 cars were made and never sold. A river of dead cars flowing to the moon to change its gravity and our weather. When mountains forget to sweat, what will come to nest in those open pits of Montana and Alberta? Put a hole in my face and something will grow there. If I don't drive, if I don't walk, if I always order the same thing, buying in bulk reduces mistakes. If I refuse to give directions, if I keep my shoes in separate houses, you call and say I'm late. But where am I? The corners are scrambling like ice flows. My car won't start till the song ends. Reupholstered in vinyl maps, cowhides resembling continents and waterways, an LED in the passenger seat blinks to show me where I'm going. Opening monologue for an imaginary talk show. Some people can ignore weather, but not me. I can ignore red lights, screaming babies, sniper fire, the sulfurous aroma of long-term politicians. But I've always had a weakness for weather. Sometimes mercurial, stormy, sunny. As Tom Waits sang, the forecast is hot tonight, cold tomorrow, and precipitation is expected. What precipitates precipitation? My personal hell would be an equatorial desert, where the sky and temperature never change, where the lengths of day and night never vary. Nor could I live at the North Pole. There aren't 365 days in the year, just one. The sun goes up in March and sets in September. How can that possibly be the planet we live on? So it seemed impossible that I wasn't aware of, nay, a founder of the new trend here in the Northwest of naked rain yoga, becoming one with the weather, opening all the chakras and orifices to the onshore flow. Of course, the classes can't be scheduled exactly. Who knows when the rain will gift us? You get a call at 3 a.m. or have to leave work early. To be denied would be against your freedom of religion. Being near the ocean is being near an edge. And if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Sometimes I'm so compact, I appear two-dimensional, but which two? Time and space, salt and pepper, upriver and downwind. Weathermen base their predictions not on the future, but what hasn't happened in a while. When people start looking up rain on Wikipedia, dial 1-800-GET-RAIN, miles of clothesline flapping with what seldom sees the sky. If you think of clouds as clothes, then the sun is our flesh, and this explains our need to expose ourselves to commune with the sun. With cutbacks and road crews, more drains clog in autumnal torrents, detouring more cars into fewer streets, creating more jaywalkers and general pedestrian anarchy. As long as the cyclists can get through, we'll be all right. As long as the rain doesn't become hallucinatory, so I want to evaporate, join the cloud like the mass of information that I am, till it's time for my transformation to the nirvanic stillness of mountaintop snow. A whiteout of the imagination where the brain's forest hasn't yet been clear-cut for memory. To see nothing is to see everything. You can drown in a teacup. You can smother in a lung full of nitroglycerin. What stops the heart starts the rain. What starts the lawnmower makes me feel like a god among puppets. The rain pulls tears, drool, and pee from me. Some leakage I can't identify but still feel responsible for. Tonight, I am the sun and the clouds. I am a clear night with 2 or 3 moons visible. The rain that eventually comes out of the faucet is the love and revulsion we all feel for each other, odorless and transparent. We have nothing to hide from each other, no matter how many layers of clothes we wear in tonight's shower stall of entertainment and delight. Before Thanksgiving ends. Clipping lips with intentional metal, while in the small intestines of our city, 4 a.m. stock exchange, as if morning leaps from bed, fully dressed and ready to work it. Breakfast is cooled and shines with congelation, a non-food aroma bringing the stomach to intention, like a sidewalk no one's walked on since Thursday. Today's Thursday. It's hard to tell when digital clouds go backwards. My clothes aren't stretching. A little more of me's been collected for taxes, but not by church or government. I hear damp bells or the off-key chime of a door that doesn't open for me, a hot grill and a slimy spatula, a paper hat of floral perfume. The shirt starts white, so every action is tangible. When 2 of us collide in a corridor, when someone lost rubs wet nails on my shoulder, we're a tick slower because of the added weight. Because what seemed 8 hours sleep was only 5, and that 8-hour shift barely ends before we push on next door, running the gauntlet of service, consumption, repeating what won't stop, melodizing my mind, dancing with concrete feet, smelling at a cloud's momentary perforation. I'm not authorized to be up this early. If I eat now, I won't get across the lake in time. No rush hour, 'cause there's no fish. I'm not among the hunters, prey, or inspectors. On weekends, I package and freeze, remove the evidence from hair and hands. Mirrors are rare gifts, like Elizabethan oranges. If you can't get out of the way, be a man about it. Bruises are no excuse for stains or hesitation. When I sit back down, the chair has several questions. The bed refuses to be my alibi. I'm simultaneously on camera in 3 parts of town. No citations, no receipts, 20s replaced with nickels and dimes. Somewhere it's morning. The shift's over and plans are made for naked running and freezing temperature. Since my key card opens the door, this is my home, until the calendar flips, until the phone starts ringing, more beds than I remember, and all of them full. One moon, one baby. Baby's too big in the moon, with mom tattooing GPS across skin time in ancient script to indemnify against a transposed background of architecture, archaeologizing vases we can't make yet. Teeth biting through wires with persistent questions, as charging arguments extol the raisin rain. Extra virgin rain. Rain we don't want talking to the car, ready to find a road like caramel anchovies stirred in milk without animal origin. Milk from magazines, milk from hopeless mountains. An oaken chest, now my chest. Not drawers, but pigeonholes, switching places. A mechanized 3D chessboard without kings or bishops, but botanists, lawyers, and DJs. We don't know how the pieces move, how the board unfolds, where motorhome solar winds turn a field into a market intelligence, market humor. I subscribe with a genome. The interest is mutation. We'll be out of bread tomorrow when the bakery is on sabbatical. When the day doesn't change just because of night when nothing closes. We sleep in our workplaces, careful not to drift onto conveyor belts, into robot tentacles, suggesting 3 elbows per limb. Spherical wrists so I can write on my own hand, piercing the flesh with solder, so bright and promising. Give us this day our daily voltage. Resistance defines character. I won't leap till I can glide. Ask the moon questions and watch its eyes. Lost like craters. Dust instead of tears escapes before evaporating all the structural members beneath the eons of paint, the treatise, almost and maybes. The technology to take a picture in the same place once a month for 1,000 years. Incompatible with our viewers. Rampant compression, pixelations, something fresh for breakfast with the wings too milk damp to more than buzz and shimmer. The challenge of vertical. Coffee like magma, soil receiving seeds, encrypting their own tails as the sun chases its offspring moon, enwrapped with long-leaded freedom, breaking away the bucket we were saving to shower. When the sun gets so naked, even our bones begin to sweat. We couldn't touch ourselves, hands slipping through, fingers like ripe fruit. The flies volunteer to flesh us, the mosquitoes ready to change our fluids and vacuum our interior for 1999. Who would want a baby they couldn't name? A baby we had to change countries to live with, had a tongue transplant to learn the language programmed in the baby's third eye, baby running before it could hold a fork, refusing to wear any color but black, only drinking when it's underwater, baby who won't sleep when the moon's above, no matter how intense the cloud cover or daylight. How deep we bury the baby in concentric libraries. As the whole village tells their stories, the baby translates in overcooked cereal, transforming the torrent of post-industrial formula into sculptural gardens we run through, ecstatically shedding our skin with the multi-barbed stamens of the baby's galactic teardown and remodel. If you lived in this baby, you'd be where now? Behind the wheel of this one-owner baby, still under warranty. Stevie singing, maybe your baby's done made some other plans. The moon staying full just to see who'll show up. Electrician, demolition, bill collector, midwife, moon shunting all the sun throws to ignite its own cherry center. To release this adolescent star, massaging the earth with ripe gravitic fingers. Isness. Quote, You can see 1,000,000 miles tonight, but you can't get very far, counting crows. When the ocean jumps against the rock, is transformed white and leaps further, 1,000 structures move through and gone quicker than gravity, taking a single color through all its saturations and light sources. This tree's 5 times older than me and moves exponentially slower. I could sit here for 6 hours and be less than an extra needle. The unequal distribution of bird bombs, how sooner or later every lost feather bursts into flames and reminds everyone of a different meal. I feel the napkin tucked under my chin, the 19-year-old instep gliding along my ankle. We want, we can't, we nibble away, skin always falling from us, my brain rippling from the occasional emotion as if from the outside, more than blowing a kiss or an opportunity, belaying, lowing like a cow, instantly aware of her limits, forgetting the robot calves she feeds twice a day who will free her. Around we are, like one continuous global coastline. If we string all our intestines together, how long till our mouths realize? That day everyone who commuted to Manhattan never came back. The island floating a little lower, more empty shelves, buildings sprouting extra stories overnight, sending out electricity like micro gulls who lost the ability to navigate, lost the stamina, can't sleep without falling, don't know which clouds will rain meat. How if you took off all my skin, I'd be a different form of human, without that vibratory shield, without the accumulation of living at the frequency of meat. How even a small cut begins to send me to another dimension where my moon pulls plasma from the air, as if I'm dozens of intention bound by skin, plumbing, and mutual needs. The time it takes for cliffside to rotate 45 degrees brings questions about eggs, tensile strength, fluid dynamics, how I've honed my willpower to spatula strength. The egg about to flip should ripple like a wave with a sea lion as the yolk, from thickening around it like a jellyfish convention, like a large sail whipped into the sea 40 years ago, evolving its manta ray hungers, its handholds for hitchhikers, cultures rippling between its sheets. Thank you. Yeah.